In 1973, before becoming president, Georgian Governor Jimmy Carter filed a report with the International UFO Bureau claiming he had seen a UFO in October 1969. Along with other witnesses, Carter saw a bright UFO that changed colors and moved towards and away from the Earth before finally disappearing. He described waiting outside for a Lions Club meeting in Leary, Georgia to begin, when at about 7:30 p.m., he spotted what he called the darndest thing I've ever seen in the sky. Along with 10 to 12 other witnesses, Carter observed a bright object in the sky, which was about the size of the moon. Carter told GQ in 2005, "We all saw it, and then the light, it got closer and closer to us, and then it stopped. I don't know how far away, but it stopped beyond the pine trees. And all of a sudden it changed color to blue, and then it changed to red, and then back to white. The object reportedly hovered about 30 degrees above the horizon, moved towards and away from the Earth, and eventually disappeared into the distance." Carter's experience led him to make a vow to never again ridicule individuals who claim to have seen a UFO. He stated, "One thing's for sure, I'll never make fun of people who say they've seen unidentified objects in the sky. If I become president, I'll make every piece of information this country has about UFO sightings available to the public and the scientists." According to some, the object Carter saw was classified as a high-altitude barium release cloud launched from an Elgin AFB. Jimmy Carter was quite vocal about his beliefs on UFOs and promised to the public all available information about UFOs if he ever did become president. However, after winning the presidency in 1976, Carter backed away from this promise, citing concerns about national security and national defense implications. His experience with the UFO is just one of many reported sightings that have fueled conspiracy about extraterrestrial life and government cover-ups. There is much speculation about how the government covers up UFOs, aliens, and why they do this. It is often said Carter was the nicest president and perhaps the worst in recent memory. The late 1970s was a time plagued with stagflation in the economy and social unrest. As Carter entered office, it is said he tried multiple attempts to get UFO information, but was repeatedly stonewalled by then CIA Director George H. Bush. Despite this, Carter still expressed interest in the subject and had Daniel Sheehan, a Harvard-educated constitutional trial lawyer who had worked on many high-profile cases in his career, look into the matter. In 1977, Sheehan was approached by his friend Marcia Smith, who informed him that President Carter had demanded that the CIA provide classified information about unidentified flying objects to him. Still, though, George H. Bush, the CIA director, refused to give this information to the president. Sheehan tried to obtain information on the UFO phenomenon and extraterrestrials from the Vatican Library, but was unsuccessful. However, with Carter's help, he managed to get access to the classified portions of the Air Force's Project Blue Book for a few hours in May 1977. There, he claimed to have discovered classified documents and photographs of a crashed UFO being investigated by Air Force personnel. There were these photographs of unmistakable of a UFO sitting on the ground. It had crashed, Sheehan said. Apparently it had hit into this field and had dug up, kind of plowed this kind of trough through this field. It was wedged into the side of this bank, he said after taking a deep breath. There was snow all around the picture. The vehicle was wedged into the side of this mud-like embankment, kind of up at an angle. There was Air Force personnel as I cranked the little handle and looked at additional photos. These Air Force people were taking pictures. Many theories exist as far as why Carter never delivered on his UFO promise. Many say it was simply politics. Others believe the news would have been too much for the public to handle at that time. Perhaps the most eye-opening story is the one put forth by former NASA researcher Ed Harris. According to the story that has been corroborated by multiple witnesses, U.S. presidents are given only a brief overview of the UFO subject by the CIA. Presidential curiosity is not considered a sufficient need to know. As Carter was being stonewalled multiple times, the decision was made to finally give Carter the talk, which reportedly left him deeply sobbing and visibly disturbed for weeks. It was said during this meeting that the Reverend Billy Graham was holding his hand, consoling him. During this meeting, Carter was allegedly told that major religions, including Christianity, were created by extraterrestrials to prevent humans from destroying themselves while they ran experiments on us, and that they made us as well. Carter, a deeply religious man who had witnessed a UFO with 6 other people, realized that releasing such information could cause tremendous economic and social unrest. The story of Carter sobbing aligns with many things that happened during that time. Carter struggled as a president, and perhaps the devastating news regarding aliens was too much for him to handle and affected his ability to lead. Later, Carter would backtrack on his UFO sighting, stating that it could perhaps have been something else, and that he wasn't a physicist. Still, others report and say this event never happened, and if Jimmy Carter was told religion didn't exist, why would he still be a religious man that has volunteered for countless humanitarian efforts? Also, why would Billy Graham sit in on a meeting where one of the main takeaways was that religion didn't exist? These questions may never get an answer, as many alien reports are deemed classified, and many of these meetings simply have no documentation. Still, the US and other countries seem to be headed in the right direction as more and more video evidence appears and more government officials come forward revealing secrets of the deep state. Perhaps we are closer to finding the truth than we actually realize.